My name is Nadeem Alexander. I was born opposite Goodhope Center in the Eaton Place, 1968. Thank you.
I've just done a shoot with Emmanuel and Jennifer in Boerkaap, which is a famous area in Cape Town. It's a pretty amazing spot. And while walking back to my car, I've just seen a guy who's essentially just looking after cars, picking up little bits of cash where he can. And he's got the most amazing look about him. So I'm going to try and grab him for a shot and just do 1 or 2 portraits of him, because he really is a great looking guy. I've already chosen a spot and this is it. The reason that I chose this particular spot is because of this wall. The sun is hitting it in full force, which means it's turned into a massive, beautiful reflector. That means that there's going to be some amazing soft light thrown from just one side. Awesome for a moody portrait. I also decided to add this flash ever so slightly behind Nadeem, and that would give the other side of his face a sort of silverness and also emphasize his beard. Whether or not I was going to use it in the final shot, I hadn't decided. So as you can see, the light coming off this wall just out of shot here is just amazing. There's also quite a lot of white areas over here which are then bouncing again some of that light in. So all of the shadows are also fantastic. They're not too dark, they're not black, they've got a little bit of feel to them, so that full light is just working amazingly well. So things I didn't like about this shot: I didn't like all of the white over here. I didn't like the traffic in the background, all the highlights, because of course they totally detract from the picture. I also felt that this particular area over here was a little bit too light for my liking, so I pulled some grad filters over in Lightroom just to pull it down a little bit. My next issue was to be able to take a picture without all of this junk in. So this is what I did. Now this shot was taken far to the right, and of course that was to eliminate that horrible traffic background. Yuck. I was not able to remove this area without literally clipping off the top of his hat. In this particular shot, I'd added the flash on this side over here. So in spite of the beautiful full light that we've got coming naturally, I was now able to create this silver edge on him and also totally emphasize his beard beautifully. You can also see the full lights hitting his neck over here, which could be a little bit bright if you like, but doesn't bother me too much. But of course now the thing that really is the problem is the composition of the shot is, well, it's a bit crappy. So what I'm going to do is I took him just like that and I moved him across to this area over here. Then I took this area here and I flipped it over, duplicated it over here, and then reblended his shoulder in, so I was able to actually balance him and make it look as though the shot was taken in a different way. Something that I do want to say is that I hadn't originally intended on taking the picture in this particular spot. I'd intended on taking it here, but I was limited because the light was amazing, but the backgrounds weren't. And that's one of the things with natural light, is that the backgrounds will be changed by what you've got in terms of lighting. The beautiful lighting is number one, and then the backgrounds are number two. And ideally you want both. In this particular shot, just jumping the gun a bit, we've got the wall sitting over here, pumping all this beautiful light in, and that flash on the clamp, that's what's pulling in this silver light over here. As you can see, quite amazing. And there we go. So that is the shot changed. This area was reblended in, and this entire section of wall was added. That was where the traffic was all sitting. This particular shot is one of my favorite shots. The final thing that I did was I took it into Nik Collection, threw it into Silver Effects Pro, and this is the final image. I love that silver light, I love that texture. If anything, I might try and pull his hat down a little bit just to isolate his face a bit more, but it's a matter of taste. I'm not a very sort of good street photographer in that when I see somebody who I think has got great character, I'll generally kind of get to know them a little bit and ask them if I can actually take a portrait. I sort of see it as a little bit of sign of respect, and the cool thing is you get to know them a bit.
But to tell you the truth, for 13 years I've been sleeping in the street against it wall.
And what happened? For a man who's had a life just as hard as Nadeem's, I couldn't believe how chill the guy was. He was smiley, he was happy, he was amazing. What a cool guy. Nadeem, thanks so much for letting me take a few pictures of you. I really appreciate it.